We started our work in Gudalur. We moved in there in '84. We worked with another NGO, my wife and I, for about 2 years, and then realized that the Adivasis of the Gudalur Valley had suffered a very gross injustice, which had been left unaddressed. And that was that they had lost access to their lands, first by the forest being declared belonging to the forest, being state property and belonging to the forest, and secondly, by introducing the notion of private property, which the Adivasis did not have. It was all common collective property. You introduce private property and you introduce the concept of title to land. And so all the non-tribal, starting with the estate plantations who came in, and subsequently Malayalis from Kerala, and then subsequently Sri Lankans from Sri Lanka, all coming to the area and all of them grabbing land and through fair means and foul ending up with having title to the land. And the Adivasis, through these years, slowly being dispossessed of their land and ending up in the 80s when we came there, being laborers on land which was once their own. And many of them bonded laborers in land which once was their own. This is the kind of situation we came into. And so in '86, with a group of young tribals, we set up a COD and with a single point agenda. If at that time you told me we will be where we are now, I would have run for cover, because we had a very simple agenda, and it was just to organize the tribals, get them to resist the kind of human rights violations that they were facing on a day-to-day basis, and to reclaim their lands. This was all our agenda was. And to give you an idea of what this human rights violation was, or what this power relation was sometimes, when we sit here in Bangalore, or we come, or you go visit a project or something like that, everything is so rosy, look at all the children we have put into school, and these bright children say, good morning, madam, and all these type of things that you get when you visit a project. The real thing behind it is often hidden. And just to give you a snapshot of what it was, our experience on the first day we were in the Nilgiris, to me encapsulates what this kind of, this injustice in our society is. We were traveling on a bus in Gudalur, and there's three seats on the bus, and it was a fairly full bus, but there was these 3 seats in front of us where there was one non-tribal woman, a Malayali woman, sitting in the corner, and the other 2 seats were vacant, and there were these tribal women standing there, Paniya women. And we had just come in, had not yet learned the language and everything like that, and we couldn't understand why these women wouldn't sit. And so finally we asked them, we said, why don't you sit down? And these women wouldn't, they kept on standing. And finally, after a lot of hesitation, when the bus kept swerving from one side to another on those hill roads and bumpy roads, one of the women very tentatively sat on the edge of this 3-seater, with her back to this woman like this. And this woman snorts and says, they have the courage to sit, soon they'll be sitting on our laps. For me, that attitude of the non-tribal woman to these tribals encapsulates what this was. And it was to fight these kind of violations, to fight this kind of thing, and change not just the non-tribals' view of the tribals, but to change the tribals' view of themselves. This is what we set out to do.